We're in a terrible position where the UK has essentially taken all of the responsibility on themselves to sort out the Irish backstop issue. And the EU can basically say, if you don't come up with something that we agree with or like, we're going to keep you indefinitely in this backstop. And I have a lot of sympathy for the Prime Minister because it's quite right that that was at the top of her priority list and that she would not throw the Irish border under the bus. I think the EU have behaved appallingly on that by basically pushing it on the UK. But we're now in a position where if the EU doesn't like any number of 500 plans that we come up with, they can keep saying, sorry, you're tied into the single market, you're tied into the customs union. That is not the Brexit that people voted for, but there we are.
What we've seen this week is that it's very clear that those at the heart of government, and I don't just mean politicians, I mean politicised civil servants too, have been acting in the most disingenuous and insidious way to overturn what is a democratic vote. Sure, there are risks in any kind of attempt to change the leadership or to change the institutes of the people at the heart of government. But what has come out this week is completely unacceptable. It's astonishing, really, that people of principle have not stood up and spoken out against this previously. The frustration across the country, as made very evident in various polls over the past couple of days, the idea that the EU, which does not have our interests at heart, it does not have its own member states' interests at heart, the idea that it would not push for further concessions, this is a point of absolute catastrophe. In terms of the future arrangements as set out in the very, very brief political declaration, it's very, very clear that the same kind of language, there's talk again about deep regulatory cooperation. We see the ongoing jurisdiction of the ECJ when, if ever, we get out of the transition period, that all of these articles which refer to 8 more years, this is really quite unacceptable. It's not surprising from the EU's point of view, but that this is happening at the heart of our government is deeply, deeply depressing. We are the land of Magna Carta and John Locke, democracy, independent courts. These are what the very bedrock of our nation.